Lesson 10-5, the distance formula. How to find out how far apart 2 points are. You should be able to graph, should be able to use the Pythagorean Theorem. All this does is a little bit of work with algebra on how far apart they are. For instance, a typical problem, they just put a problem in the book. How far is it from the point 5,3 to the point 6,5? 5,3 over 5, up 3. 6,5 over 6, up 5. Left and right first, then up and down. How far apart is it? What's the distance? Now, instead of just memorizing the distance formula, and every book has a distance formula, what I try to go through is the thinking. Quickly, not a big graph. Where's 5,3 at? Over 5, up 3. Over 6, up 5. It's a distance, straight line. We're not going to get into curves, all that kind of stuff. How far apart? At first you might think, well, I don't know. How do I do that? Well, the Pythagorean Theorem. The Pythagorean Theorem has to do with right triangles. Right triangles. You don't see a right triangle here, but I can draw one in. Happens all the time on 2 coordinate planes. It's got a difference of distances. How far over did this go? Well, I was at 5, and now I'm at 6. Over 5, but this one was over 6. That's a difference of 1. How far up and down is it? Well, it was at 3 up, now it's up 5. That's a distance of 2. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Length of the leg squared plus length of the other leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. Let me give you a close-up view. 1 over from 5 to 6. 2 up from 3 to 5. Left and right first, then up and down. That means 1 squared plus 2 squared equals 5 squared. Well, 5. Opposite of squaring? Opposite of squaring, square root. Square root of 5 does not come out perfectly. It's not a perfect square. It's prime, by the way, so just leave it. Your answer, the distance between those 2 points, is the square root of 5. Now, the formula out of the book, the formula out of most books, go like this. And I've had students who said, well, what's the formula? Well, it's all based on the Pythagorean Theorem. Over and up, over and up. It's kind of like rise over run. It's related, sometimes people get that confused with slope, rise over run, but it's distance. Here's what you'll see in the books. The difference of the x's, how far apart they are. Squared, that's like your a. The difference of your y's, squared, that's like the difference, the vertical distance. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And of course you take the square root, just like I had the square root of 5 up here, because then it's got, that's the opposite of squaring. Well, what's the difficulty? The difficulty is just watching out, first of all, a couple things. Let's take the point 4, 5 and the point 7, negative 2. Over 4, up 5. Over 7, down 2. Looks like this is going to be farther away. This is going to be farther away than the actual points before. How far apart are these? Now, don't do these. It's the x's. How far is the horizontal distance? These are 3 apart. These are 7 apart. Watch your negatives. It's not 5 minus 2. It's 5 minus negative 2. How far apart is 5 and negative 2? Well, they're 7 apart. The good news is it doesn't matter if it's 7 or negative 7. It doesn't matter if you start at 5 and go to negative 2 or negative 2 to 5. It doesn't matter because when you square it, you're still going to get positive. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. I think it's the most important theorem in all of mathematics. College algebra, trig, calculus, it pops up in lots of places. 9 plus 49. 9 is a perfect square. 49 is a perfect square. Add them together, you don't get a perfect square. You take the square root, because the opposite of squaring is square root. Let's see, 58 does not come out even. Usually, the book or the directions on the worksheet will be round to the nearest tenth, round to the nearest hundredth. Use the calculator to figure that out. Sometimes it'll say simplest radical form. We talked about that today just briefly. When you have something like 200, I don't have 200 on this one, but if I have the square root of 200, I can split that up into 100 times 2. 200 is 200, it's 100 times 2. So you can split that up into 100 times 2. Square root of 100 is perfectly 10. 2 is prime, you can't break it down anymore. So it's 10, we call that 10 root 2 or 10 square root of 2. That's perfectly okay in math, that's the exact answer. Square root of 58 is okay, because you can't break it down into 2, but just 2 and 29, but that doesn't help. So we leave it as square root of 58. Subtract the x's, square it, that's your a. Subtract your y's, that's your b. And as you well know, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Enjoy.